This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up, everybody? Ricky Widmer here, along with fellow man-child Johnny Karlic. And we are back for the Rick and Johnny podcast right here on Most Valuable Podcast. Taking my headphones off because we're going to start the show. I don't have them plugged in, so it's weird kind of hearing myself muffled. But if you're new to the Rick and Johnny podcast, this is where we talk about everything really under the nerdy suns. We look at movies, we look at superheroes, we look at comics, we kind of look at everything in the nerd realm, and games as well. Thank you for throwing that in there.
You're welcome.
Before I tell you what we're talking about today, let me go through a little bit of housekeeping. Number one, thank you again to all of our patrons who support MVP each and every month. If you want to become a patron, check out the link in the description. $10 tier, you can come on a Rick and Johnny podcast every month. You are at that level. Number two, check out our store. Get an MVP t-shirt. I know I'm not wearing it now. I'm wearing my Bailey shirt, but go get the MVP t-shirt down below in the description as well. Most Valuable Podcast, that's where you're going to find everything for MVP each and every day. And then last but not least, if you're on Apple Podcasts, you're on iTunes, go give the Rick and Johnny podcast a 5-star rating. It really means the world to us, and it helps people who come across the Rick and Johnny podcast kind of decide whether they should listen to it. So go on and say, you know what, great podcast. You guys should definitely check it out. But Johnny, jam-packed show today. We're talking Ant-Man and the Wasp. Trailer came out earlier this week. We also have a little bit of Avengers 4 theories. Well, Infinity War Avengers 4 theory we're talking about. We're looking at Power Rangers being bought by Hasbro. Ooh. What does that mean for the movie franchise? And then we added a fourth topic about a Superman video game being produced by Rocksteady Studios. So a true jam-packed show on the RNJ today. No, not Bebop. This isn't Ninja Turtles, not Rocksteady and Bebop. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive into Ant-Man and the Wasp. And before we do so, we're going to do what we haven't done in a while. We're actually going to react to the trailer. So if you guys haven't seen it, you'll be able to see it. And then we're going to kind of talk about it. So I've got mine all geared ready to go. Do you have yours all geared ready to go?
If I can untangle my headphones, then
yeah,
yes.
Johnny's got to get those headphones out.
I don't know what happened. I put them down and they decided to...
Well, you pulled them out. And I don't think you did. You plug them in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't even see you plug them in.
Ninja.
So let me know when you're ready. Got it on the space bar. You know the drill. 3, 2, 1, go.
So, how long have you been Ant-Man again?
Not long.
Skateboard.
It just sort of happened.
I wish I could fight bad guys like you.
I seem to mess it up almost every time.
I love that they have her as more of a main part of it.
Watching your back.
I'm surprised you couldn't stop that truck a little easier.
Like a partner.
Dr. Pym, I actually heard what happened to you. You opened up the quantum realm. That's when this crazy creepy ghost who like walks through walls and stuff.
Jeez.
Stole your tech. And now she wants to take over the world.
Is that weird that she can phase people through walls?
It is kind of weird.
Like she can kick you, phase you through the wall.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
It's weird.
That's us.
The only chance we've got is both of you.
Ant-Man and the Wasp teaming up.
Follow my lead.
She seems more intense.
And playing the drum. You know what I like about Marvel trailers? The music.
Yes.
Like, the more recent ones have a great soundtrack.
They do. Ever since Guardians, honestly.
You go low, I'll go high.
Why would you... Why would I go low? I have wings.
Oh, that is so weird.
Hey, what'd I miss? We were just tiny.
I was partners with Hank on a project called Goliath.
How big did you get?
My record,
21 feet. You? 65 feet. 65.
It's insane.
Finish comparing sizes.
65.
65. 65. That's how high I got. So, question I have for you first off.
Just saying.
Is how big of a role do you think the Goliath is going to play in this story?
You know,
I know it's a minor question, but like having him in it though, I mean,
they're gonna show toying around with it more, but it's not gonna.
he's not actually going to be Goliath.
Not a lot of the time. No, I think it's gonna like. I mean, the idea is that they have a villain that is based off the quantum realm. Well, how do you get to the quantum realm?
Yeah.
You
Well,
shrink.
they're going to try to figure that out. And
Yeah, my guess. Well, if it's anything, because in Ant-Man 1, he made it to the quantum realm by turning off his resistor thing, right?
Yes, and that's
Forgot
how
what
it
they
got
named
like
it.
really small.
Yeah.
And just kept going down and down and down and down and down. And that's how he defeated Yellow Jacket.
Yeah, exactly.
But what we're talking about today is, and I gotta say, the spoiler. It's been 2 weekends, so kind of we've had that kind of, for us, we're going to keep the 2 weekend window open for spoilers. But if you have not seen Avengers Infinity War, there may be spoilers for that in here, because what we're talking about is Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah, the trailer looks great,
Fantastic.
but what will it mean for Avengers 4?
Yes.
Because there was one theory that I heard, and I'll start with this gut punch right out of the gate, is that there are people that are like, if you look at the poster, Scott Lang's in the front, the old Wasp is in the right behind him over his left shoulder. So what people are thinking is that snap happened, Hank Pym is gone, and also the Wasp, the new one, disappears. And one of the things that I heard that would be gut-wrenching, they go through the movie, either end of the movie after credit, they come out of the quantum realm, and as soon as they come out, it's like, does everything feel okay? And she goes, yeah, and just fades. And just fades right in front of him. Because will the quantum realm protect them from the snap?
Until he
Because
because
time moves differently, quantum realm compared to real life.
yeah, maybe being in the quantum realm would be kind of like a
It slows down actual time.
yeah. That I would say maybe it negates it until they get back to the normal scheme of things.
Yeah.
just per se. So like the second they come out, Wasp.
And she just disappears.
Yeah, or I think she would be the one to say, like, say she feels funny.
Or would she say she feels funny at all? Because here's the other thing I thought of, is the only one that was like, oh, I feel funny, is the guy who had spider senses.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Well, they all had a weird look on their faces. Things went off because I believe, and you saw it more times than I have.
Yeah.
Didn't Sam Wilson say, oh, shit?
Yeah.
Before it happened to him? So they kind of had an idea what was going on because Bucky said, Steve, like, what's going on?
Yeah, whereas Spider-Man actually held it off. I think it's going to be interesting to see how this sets up Avengers 4, though, because of the timeline with it.
Yeah.
Where, yes, you have a villain where, like we're saying, very quantum realm-like, where actually...
Or powers come from the quantum realm.
Yeah, and I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think I heard that in the comics, Ghost is actually a male, but they're gender-bendering it and making it a female for this one, which I'm like, fine, whatever.
No big deal.
Works for me, just as long as you explain it and have a actual, like, reason for doing so. But in the trailers, it doesn't look anything that's, like, super, like, oh my God, why did you do that? And I haven't heard that response on Twitter. The thing that I think we'll question is, will this villain be wrapped up? Because this takes place before Infinity War. However, how long is this timeline going to go?
Yeah.
And when they're in the quantum realm, you might say, well, Ricky, you said it just happens before Infinity War. Well, what if they're in the quantum realm? They're in it for what seems like this amount of time, but in the real world, a lot more time.
It could be.
Has spanned to where they're coming out post-snap.
We don't know how it works in the quantum realm because the only other thing we've had that I can think of, we had
the Wasp. The first Wasp, the Hank Pym Wasp, because if you look at...
Well, yeah, no. What I'm trying to say, though, is more so the idea of the first, besides bringing up the quantum realm in Ant-Man and Wasp, the only other quantum thing I believe is there was a quantum asteroid field, just to give us an idea in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, how that kind of works is you can see it pops in, pops out, pops in, pops out somewhere else. And so, I mean... and those are the only two things, the only two movies we have any idea how quantum anything works.
And the thing that
in those movies,
here's the little, this is inferring a little bit, because they don't explain anything in Ant-Man, which I kind of like. Let us kind of think about what it's going to be. So it's going to be Michelle Pfeiffer who's playing the Hank Pym Wasp, the Wasp that was around when he was Ant-Man. Yeah. And we have her as a reference. She's been in the quantum realm for how long? It's been a really long time. You would think, oh, like, she should be dead by now. But in all the posters, she's the same age that she is, like, right now. Let's see, like 54. So, I mean, she's going to be, like, what, 60-something, if my math is correctly? If she was, like, 58. Actually, 58 would be, 60. So she'd be like a late 50s, early 60s, but in the quantum realm, she's been there for almost forever almost. I know that's not an exact measurement of time, but she's been in there this long, but she's only aged this long. So it gives us kind of an idea
that's because it probably
of how time works.
Goes slower in the quantum realm.
Because everything's smaller.
Yeah.
I just have do you think they'll tie up everything with Ghost by the end of this movie? Will they have to?
I think they will, just
because
so that
then the threat is Thanos and everything post-snap.
Yes, exactly. That's what I think is going to be. The thing would be... Well, where was my thought going? I think they would have to tie it all up, just for the fact of we got to worry about Thanos. We can't really be worrying about Ghost again. So, I mean, you don't want to have that issue. I mean, again, maybe if... Maybe it won't affect Ghost at all. The snap could... We don't know who the snap could affect, honestly. I mean, so if they don't tie it up with Ghost, who knows how they're going to play that out? Because that would be kind of like a lingering thought of, well, what's going on with Ghost? We didn't resolve that, and all of a sudden we have to worry about Thanos now.
Well, and also the thing that I'm looking at right here is the thing that I also like about this trailer. So the first trailer that came out, they kind of showed us who the villain would be. And you had to do a little bit of a deep dive if you wanted to know who the villain was. So, like, there were people around that time that were like, oh, it's Ghost. So it's like, cool. If you wanted to do that deep dive, you could do it. Now this one, they show us a little bit more of... They first show her face, and two, show a little bit more of her powers. So she can kind of do the whole vision thing where... I thought she was going to go right across the top of the car. No, I'll just phase right through you in the car to go through you. She kicks Scott Lang, phases him through a wall, and is some way able to do that with I'm assuming, the Pym technology to use
whatever
the quantum realm
incident happened with her. Yeah. 'Cause it seems like there was some sort of incident that goes on. Like, I don't know if they were trying to get quantum realm without shrinking or something like that, but... That's what it seems like. Because
the thing I wonder with her, and this is a thing that I was getting to that I like, is that they don't make her motive shown. No. They don't make the motive, because like if you look at the comic version of Ghost, it even says here, very little is known of the identity of Ghost. He claims, because in the comics it's a he claims to have been an IT researcher at one point and to have been made into what he is by corporate greed. The Ghost is an anti-capitalist sabotager who seeks to destroy various political and economic institutions he views as oppressive, apparently being most interested in those dealing with advanced technology and surveillance. He has at times hired his services to the corporations and organizations such as Norman Osborn's Thunderbolts that wish to destroy rival groups. So I don't know if this is going to be a Ghost where it's like, she's working on her own, and it's like, I'm going after these individual tech companies because I don't like what they're doing. Kind of the whole Thanos route of it's almost the anti-hero kind of way of like, if you look at it from my point of view, I am doing what I think is right.
Yeah.
Or will it be such and such company try to pay her off to sabotage a rival, and Ant-Man and Wasp has to stop her?
Interesting concept. I'm curious now. I'm like, as soon as we saw this trailer, I was curious.
What do you think it could be?
Well, I'm trying to think of what it could be because I'm going to play through the trailer as we're talking about this. So it looks, from what the trailer's showing at least, it looks like it's an incident. Again, like I said earlier, it looks like it gives
her the power.
Yeah, it gives her power. Like an incident, it gives her the power to quantum realm. Like there was this bright light in somewhere, if I'm remembering in here correctly. And to me, it's like, I don't know if what her part is. It's an intern. She was part of the experiment of trying to get to the quantum realm, and something went awry. I mean, we could go with the trope of, oh, they're taking her research away. If we really want to go that route, but I don't know if they really.
How many times have we seen that in movies?
Exactly. Though? They're taking my research away. What the hell's going on?
We just saw it in Rampage. Am I
exactly.
wrong?
Yeah, no. That was one. Like I said, it's a trope. So my thought is like, either she has the incident done from whatever experiment was done, or like whatever her role in the experiment was, and maybe she blames companies like the corporations now, or like you said, tech companies more specifically, for what's wrong with her. Because obviously, if you in this trailer, she's face shifting and it looks like she's like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, that kind of looks like maybe it was early on before she has a grasp of her abilities.
Exactly. So that I mean, doesn't mean you won't blame the corporations, but something tells me there's something a little bit deeper. Maybe she got paid by a company to sabotage it, and her sabotage kind of not screwed her over, but at the same time gave her those abilities, and she sabotaged it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And so now she's out for herself.
I just think it's like she's the main interesting point of this.
Right now I'm a little lost on her motive, honestly. Because now
I like that though. I like that they're
now.
not giving us all the like.
I don't want the story right now.
If you're new to the Rick and Johnny podcast, I'm a guy where give me trailers, make me excited, but keep some things for the movie.
Yeah.
Don't give me the whole kitchen, like don't give me everything in the kitchen sink before I walk into the movie like the movie theater.
Don't give me your whole synopsis of your story.
Walk into the movie trailer, man. Gotta walk into the movie trailer, not the movie theater.
No, Ricky walks in the movie trailer.
Any other thing you think we should hit with the Ant-Man and Wasp trailer? How it'll fit in Avengers 4, greater story kind of a thing.
Wait, what do I want to hit?
Think? Yeah, is there anything that we haven't hit that you're like, we've gotta?
I mean, no, I like it's just like a sort of a next step from the first trailer. Still love it. Still love all the things we're seeing.
Because this takes place right after Civil War. Correct? Yeah,
like right shortly after that, where Scott is kind of on parole-ish type thing, made a deal.
House arrest. Like Nat said in Infinity War, Clint and Scott took house arrest because it'd be too tough on their families.
Exactly. That's what they wanted. So,
and then Mark Ruffalo was like, wait, there's a Spider-Man and an Ant-Man? There's two of them now? The last thing I want to hit, though, is his daughter. Because I had read an article before this trailer came out that they're looking into or casting for a future movie an older version of his daughter.
Oh, wow.
So like we saw in the comics, his daughter in the comics that are going on right now, I believe, she's like in college.
Yeah.
So she's an older version of herself. I think that would be very interesting. Because then you can play off of, like, right now it's interesting only because we're introduced to his daughter. His daughter has kind of like a, like she said, oh, maybe you need a partner, someone to watch your back. And she has very, like, a child's, like, view of it. The relationship I can't wait to see in an Ant-Man movie is when she gets older, maybe introducing the mom a little bit more. Because the main thing of an Ant-Man story, I don't know how many Ant-Man comics you've read, Johnny.
Not a lot.
But the thing that's the most interesting about it is he's trying to be the best father for her.
Yeah.
He obviously can't because he's being Ant-Man and stuff. And then the wife is all about how can you how can you be the best father while being Ant-Man, putting her in that danger. And number 2, we want the mom is we want nothing to do with you. I don't want you anywhere near her life because I don't want her in danger.
Yeah, I don't want
Scott,
her mixed
you're a
up in
criminal.
that.
You're and she's very negative on Scott to where it's that separated parents where I'm going to keep the kid away from you because I don't want you being a bad influence on her type of a thing.
Or what the mom thinks is a bad influence.
Yes, exactly. That's where I'm going with that. So, I mean, I wonder if they kind of shift into that as we go further along, because after Avengers 4, it's supposed to be the cosmic universe.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing, again, is we get to see the Ant-Man and Wasp thing movie. We talked about how Wasp may disappear, how Hank Pym may disappear.
What if his daughter disappears?
That's what I was coming over to, because we also talked about in another podcast when we talked about Infinity Wars. Clint's rolling it. His family might disappear too if Clint's still around, because going with the theory of it ties in with Tony's premonition or his vision.
Thank you, from Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, I'm going with that little theory right now, and so I want until I see more that pulls out differently, because we don't know what happened to Clint.
Yeah,
we don't know what happened to his family. We don't know what's going to happen yet with Ant-Man and Wasp and the Wasp. Until this movie comes out.
Because it's interesting. They mentioned the more cosmic side of things for Phase 4.
Yeah.
But right now, the 3 films that are kind of, I don't want to say announced, but they're the ones that they're moving forward with. Guardians 3, which is obviously cosmic.
Yep.
Spider-Man 3 right now is set to open up Phase 4. That one's going to come out July 5th of 2019. So what it looks like...
3 or 2?
2. It's 2.
Okay, I was gonna say you said 3, and
so they have Spider-Man 2 is announced.
Yeah,
in the updated film, Spider-Man 3 will also be a part of Phase 4.
Okay.
So the movies that we have right now, Ant-Man and the Wasp, we'll be seeing in a couple months now.
Yeah.
Then early 2019 is Captain Marvel. May is Avengers 4.
Yep.
And then that July, Phase 4 starts with Spider-Man 2.
Wow.
And that's where we're at right now.
Wow.
And then it's basically, so, yeah, they're pretty much going on that timeline of right now, then they have from 2020 on, May, July, November, February, May, July. So that's what they have right now. So for maybe 2 years, we'll have that May, July, November kind of a roll.
Wow.
Kind of like when we had Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And that one was in November, whereas Black Panther, we waited all the way until
February.
Valentine's Day for that. Any final things before we move on to the next topic?
No, it looks great. I can't wait to find out.
Looks funny, too.
It does.
It's the right palette change we needed after Infinity War.
Not just that, it's very
Ant-Man. Palette cleanser, I should say.
It's still very Ant-Man, which I like. So, it's that. I'm really curious of what her motivation is. And I don't want to really get it till the movie, but maybe a snippet in the final trailer.
Right before the movie.
Yeah, right before the movie. So I have a little idea what she is all about, but I don't want the full taste of it. Give me the sample, and maybe I'll see if I want the...
Give you the Sam's Club Costco sample.
Oh, I was about Baskin Robbins sample.
Okay, that
Give me
too.
And see if I want one of those 31
see if
flavors.
I want that flavor before I want to go see it.
How many ever
we're going to eat the flavor anyways, because we're going to go see the movie no matter what.
Exactly. I mean, it's Moose Tracks. Can I get a sample of it before I actually go and buy it?
Let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section. How hyped are you for Ant-Man and Wasp? What are you thinking about any of the things we talked about today about the story and how it could fit in with Avengers 4. Let's move on, though, into our next topic, Johnny, and we're staying in the MCU. We're staying in the Marvel sphere of things. We're not sandwiching anything today.
No sandwiches today.
And the reason why is, so the title of this on YouTube, you might say, whoa, spoilers. If you haven't seen Avengers Infinity War, obviously spoilers. I feel like this is the last time I can say that, right?
Yeah.
Like after this podcast, the next podcast, we can just spoil, and after 3 weekends... then it's kind of your own fault, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe we should just mention it at the beginning, but...
just in case.
Just in case.
Spoilers for Avengers Infinity War if you have not seen it. But, Johnny, today we're talking about Gamora. And the reason we're talking about Gamora is what's her future in the MCU? Because we got 2 articles that we're using as kind of references here.
Well, I mean, she dead.
She dead, too. But like
I
the
know.
first off was an entire article about that she's the key to beating Thanos. She's still trapped in the soul world, her coming back. Then there was an article later this week, where Joe Russo recently stopped by Iowa City High School and spoke to students about Avengers Infinity War. While there, the Iowa City Press Citizen reports that the co-director of the film fielded a question about whether the Orange Void Thanos visits at the end of the film and sees young Gamora in is actually within the Soul Stone. Here's what he said, Johnny. Yeah, it implies that it's the Soul Stone. It's all orange around, and he's inside the Soul Stone. With the amount of power that it took to snap his fingers, he has this out-of-body experience with Thanos. When he goes inside the Soul Stone, he has this kind of conversation with the younger version of Gamora. Or of his Gamora, is what he's saying. Because that also makes me think, is she in the Soul Stone, or was he having an out-of-body experience and he was wanting to think she was alive, hoping she was, and seeing his version? Because she goes, oh, did you do it? And he goes, yeah. And she goes, well, what did it cost? And he goes, everything. And that's the last we see. Also, after seeing it a second time, what still confuses me, after he throws Gamora off and gets the Soul Stone, when he like is laying in that pool of water and then sits up, is he in the Soul Stone there, or was he just transported away from the cliff on Volmir?
I guess he was just transported away because it was weird. Yeah, I do remember that.
Because it just cuts and goes to the next thing.
That's what my brain was like as soon as we saw that. It's like, why did he wake up in the pool of water? I get it. He got the Infinity Stone out of it, but why did he wake up in the pool of water? Like the pools of water, I should say.
But I'll ask you.
Okay.
What do you think Gamora's future, what do you think it is in the MCU going forward? Going forward, mainly Avengers 4, what's Gamora's future?
Well, let's see. Avengers 4, there's going to be some way... I'm trying to think. Because it's kind of confusing. I don't want to just say, oh, they're going to bring her back. Like, that's stupid.
I think they
sounding.
are, though.
I mean, they are, but I don't want to say...
But are they going to bring her back in the way we think?
I don't want to sound like, oh, they're going to bring her back, like in the stupid way of, oh, she's back, guys. We got an Infinity Stone and just brought her back. I think it's going to be kind of it may weigh on Thanos that he killed Gamora for this, over all this, because, I mean... Maybe going back and forth inside the Soul Gem just a bit. Maybe he's going to go back and forth inside the Soul Gem a few times just to talk to her because he gave her up just for the Soul Gem. Because I don't think it was his version of Gamora in the Soul Gem. It's Gamora's... when you're pulled inside the Soul Gem, it's that version of the person. It's what their thoughts are. And that's kind of a Gamora thing to ask instead of like just getting pissed with him. Kind of going back to the calm side of maybe being stuck inside the Soul Gem, thinking about things and going, was it worth it?
Because you killed me.
Yeah, you killed me. The thing that apparently you cared about most. Or one of the people you cared about most.
Which, watching it a second time,
just like, do you not think that's like the opposite, like hitting Thanos in another way than physically? Just did you get it done? Yeah. Would you give up everything? Was it worth it?
Here's what I think, though, and this is the reason why I titled this on YouTube.
Yeah.
The way I did. I mean, I feel like they're going to bring her back for Avengers 4. But I don't know if, like, the article that's like, oh, is she the key to defeating Thanos? I want to say no.
I don't think she's the key. I think she's going to be a very helpful thing because I think all this is going to kind of toy with his mind in the fact of either maybe he's going to start thinking of, wait, I have this. I can bring her back. Or it's going to be the Avengers find a way to get at least one or two of the Infinity Stones back or something. Or reverse time where Nebula's like, we need Gamora. I need my sister to help me with this. She knows more. She knows as much about Father as I do. We need to get her back somehow.
Here's
the time travel part of it is going to play a huge key in that.
Here's what I'm also thinking about is, so I'm looking at the backstory of comic Gamora.
Yeah.
And when you look at comic Gamora, I'll read a little bit of it, is Gamora became very proficient in martial arts after Thanos found her and stuff.
Yeah.
Earning the nickname the deadliest woman in the whole galaxy, which Thanos says in Infinity War. When she was a teenager, Thanos took her on a trip to Tartuia number 7. Gamora disobeyed Thanos' orders. Due to this, came into conflict with a group of thugs. She was greatly outnumbered, and despite her skills, she was defeated and then raped by the assailants. Thanos finds her half dead, in turn murdered all the assailants, and restored her to health cybernetically, enhancing superhuman levels. Then as an adult, it goes on to say that she was going to assassinate a Church of the Truth. And then after this, she managed to get close to Magnus, but failed the assassination at the last second. Together with Warlock. That's what I think we're headed to. And I wonder if her being in the Soul Stone, I'm going to say this, and it might be shocking, what if we don't see her in Avengers 4? Meaning the only way, the only two ways we see her in Avengers 4 is if A, they go back in time to talk to Gamora. Like Nebula says, no, we got to go back in time, talk to an older Gamora, because she's the only one that can beat him. Well, younger. Well, you know what I mean. Younger Gamora, because she's the only one that can beat him. Or do they just, the only time we see Gamora is if they show the Soul World and she's in the Soul Stone. Because what I'm thinking is, what if they don't have her in air quotes again in Avengers 4, and then Cosmic Universe comes along, and this shakes up the lineup of the Guardians, where it's no longer the traditional Guardians that we see, where maybe she's not in the Guardians anymore, and this shows that, hey, Phase 4, she's going to be teaming up with Adam Warlock. We kind of introduce Adam Warlock to where they connect in the Cosmic Universe through the Soul Stone.
It could be something like that, except Adam Warlock's coming off a little bit differently than in the comics, because
the Sovereign is
creating him as opposed to him having to
destroy the Guardians.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, there has to be the whole thing of how does he come in contact with the Soul Gem, and then the other part is she's already in there, but. Well, here's the other thing I was going to bring up too. So didn't they say she kind of has a bigger role in Guardians 3 in one of these articles?
I believe so, yeah.
So,
for Avengers 4, you mean?
No, I think it's at Guardians 3.
Oh, yeah. Okay, maybe then she becomes the leader. Is that what you're going towards? Maybe the leader of the Guardians?
I don't know, but I mean, it could shake up the lineup still, because we don't know what's going to end up in Phase 4.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what, it could, or not Phase 4, in Avengers 4, anything could shake up the lineup still. But I thought it said she had a little bit more of a role in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 that's supposed to come out in Phase 4.
She could.
So, I mean, I think we're going to get her back somehow.
I think James Gunn has said that.
James Gunn, that's what I knew someone, I couldn't remember.
James Gunn has said that, not the Russos.
Okay, well...
And James Gunn is writing Guardians, or has already written Guardians.
So, I mean, if he already wrote it or is writing it, pretty good.
I'm assuming he knows what's going to go on in Avengers 4, so he can write it. Yeah.
I mean, who knows? He must not. I know.
Yeah.
So there's got to be some way of we're kind of getting her back.
But also, Guardians 3 is Phase 4.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm saying, what if she's not? What if, like, we don't see her get out of the Soul Stone until Guardians 3?Maybe
that's like the quest of the rest of the Guardians to try
find her,
try and get her back somehow. I'm fairly sure. I think the biggest part we're going to definitely see her in is going into the Soul Stone, though. The other thing I wanted to bring about is when Thanos snaps. I want to get a nice snap when I do that. There we go.
Okay.
Now I'm pleased.
Okay.
When Thanos snaps, he sees Gamora. And then one person I was talking to, and then I don't know why I didn't think of it, because Marvel guy here, everyone dies.
Yeah.
That was supposed to die. He's like, yeah, they're all in the Soul Stone. Like, fuck, how did I not think of that when there's... So, like, yeah, Gamora's there. When Thanos snaps, he sees Gamora, and then after he gets out of the soul gem, everyone starts disappearing. Everyone that's disappeared is probably in that soul gem right now.
Maybe.
So, I mean, who knows what's going to play into that?
Because, I mean, I'm looking right now, and of course this is Wikipedia, but some of the modern team for Guardians, it looks like, so July of 2008, they had Adam Warlock, Drax Gamora, Quasar, Rocket Raccoon, Star-Lord. And then 2009, 7 issues later, is where they had Groot, Mantis, Major Victory, and Bug. 2019, Jack Flag. 2020, Cosmo the Space Dog, and Moondragon were then added to it. So I don't think they go with any like Jack Flag, Major Victory, Moondragon, but the two that I think could be interesting is Guardians 3 will probably be Adam Warlock hatches, and Adam Warlock is the main villain.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised the antagonist. I wouldn't be surprised that what if he becomes and I know that maybe you don't do this because Chris Pratt is Chris Pratt, and if Chris Evans and Tony Stark are leaving, you need a guy like Chris Pratt to become the face of the MCU. What if Adam Warlock joins the team then? Yeah. Because I wouldn't say becomes the leader because Star-Lord would be the leader.
But you still, someone who joins the team. Yeah, I agree with you. That's why I corrected and said antagonist, because usually we kill off now I'm going to go with a 50 percentile. We kill off Marvel villains. Used to be the joke that Marvel villain, he's going to die. Yeah. And then, but no, anyways, I think he's going to be like an antagonist because the Sovereign are probably more so the villains in that sense.
And it'll be interesting. I don't know if they're going to do this in Captain Marvel at all, but the whole, and I hope I'm saying the name right, when it's Quasar, which is Fela Vale, what if they introduce her in a way through Captain Marvel, because that's who she's related to. She's almost the same kind of, I don't want to say she is Captain Marvel, but she had been known as Captain Marvel in the past. So, I mean, what if they add her, maybe get rid of like a Drax, because after Thanos is dead, really with Drax, it's like, I could see Thanos dying in Avengers 4, Drax being like, all right, I'm done. Like, you know what? Let's be honest. I was only here to get Thanos. Thanos is dead. I can die happy. Yeah. I can go live on wherever I want to go and be happy.
Or, I mean, it comes down to maybe, like we said, we don't know. Well, this was for Avengers 3 that there are going to be some major deaths. Maybe he doesn't come back. Yeah. Or maybe he dies in the final fight with Thanos or something. Because we don't, like... for some reason, I don't see him just dropping and leaving the Guardians without a decent reason to, because in Guardians 2, he states himself, no, we're not friends. We're a family.
No, he says it in Avengers Infinity War 2.
He does that as well in that one, because he says it in, I know for sure because I just watched it again.
I think he says it in Avengers Infinity War 2. Okay. I know he says it in Guardians 2 though.
Because I just watched it.
I watched that scene too on YouTube recently.
When they're all on Ego. Yeah. And they're arguing, and then he looks at Nebula, except you maybe.
You're right. He didn't say it in Infinity War. He did say it in Guardians 2. Yeah. What would you think of this?
Add Cosmo.
I don't know how they. We've seen Cosmo.
We've seen Cosmo. We've already seen him.
But we don't know if Cosmo died when Thanos destroyed everything in nowhere.
Maybe. No.
Because that's where Cosmo was.
Doesn't mean he was there.
I'm assuming he's still there. I don't think Cosmo was able to get off.
I mean, he destroyed everything in the collectors.
That means Howard the Duck got off though.
He did get off because he was in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. He was somewhere else, which means maybe
he was
Cosmo,
with the Ravengers.
Maybe Cosmo is somewhere else.
Maybe, but I'm assuming Cosmo's dead right now.
Nah, because he didn't destroy nowhere. He destroyed the collectors.
Yeah, and that's where Cosmo was.
I mean, I don't think they all stay there because
I've never seen Cosmo anywhere else, so I'm going last frame of reference. Like Howard the Duck, I've seen somewhere else.
Okay. Well,
So,
you believe that, and
that's
I'm
what I'm
gonna
going.
go with hopefully adding Cosmo.
Back to what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Is what if, and Mantis is another one that is, so right now we've got Drax, we've got Gamora, we've got Rocket, Groot, Star-Lord, and Mantis are our 6.
Yes.
What if they got rid of, I don't see them getting rid of Gamora because the Gamora Star-Lord chemistry is just too good. I don't see them getting rid of Groot because he's a commercial success. I don't see them getting rid of Rocket because Bradley Cooper, why would you want to get rid of him? So that leaves Drax, Batista, and Mantis. To where what if they, both of those maybe die in some way?
Mm-hmm.
Those 2 leave by the end of Guardians 3. Adam Warlock and Quasar are then on there. Because then you also have that, not the paradigm shift, but like the balance of like, all right, we're not tipping the scales of one over the other. Where it's like Mantis leaves, so okay, Quasar comes in, that's another female character. Drax dies, Adam Warlock comes in, that's a male character, and the team is exactly the same as they were before.
No, I mean,
do you think that could even happen? Do you think, I'm mentioning Quasar, is that something that's completely thrown out of it?
I think we're going to leave Quasar out for this one because it would be really hard to, or not hard. It's not.
We don't know what they're going to do with the Kree Skrull invasion.
Exactly, but it doesn't, it's not really like Marvel's thing to do so much in so little time.
Except for Infinity War.
Oh, except for Infinity War, but we've had 10 years leading up to this. We've had movies.
Maybe now it all changes, man. We're going pedal to the metal.
Oh, you want us to BVS it?
Yes. No.
Exactly.
No, but they
stand down, Ricky. Stand down.
But they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it right because they're Marvel.
Yes, but that
unless it's Thor: The Dark World.
Even then, that wasn't terrible.
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't good. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it still wasn't good. But back
it was okay.
Back to the Guardians discussion.
Yes. I don't think we're going to throw Quasar in just because we never introduced Quasar. We didn't really hint at it unless it was in that lineup.
So Captain Marvel's storyline.
Calm down for a minute. I'm still talking. The only thing we've ever like hinted at in any other like Guardians of the Galaxy style was that end like roster for the other Ravagers.
Yeah. The original
lineup, yeah, for Guardians. So I don't think I think if anything, we're probably just going to add one, maybe add one, get rid of one, which would be able to bring in Adam, and he would maybe be an antagonist for Guardians 3, because by then I think he'd be out of the birthing pod.
Which the original was Major Vance Astro, Charlie 27, Martin X, Yondu, Starhawk, Nikki, and then Alita Ogord. So those are the ones that we saw at the
lineup, that original lineup.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the Stallone.
Yeah, the Stallone, the OG Guardians. No, so my thought is maybe just add one, get rid of one, or because I don't think they're gonna have 7. That's kind of a big amount to fill. So something's gonna happen.
Because the Guardians aren't like the Avengers. The Avengers are like, yeah, we can have this many because we're not together that often.
We add another.
The Guardians are constantly in one ship.
Add another.
Yeah.
Add another.
Yeah, the Guardians are constantly in one ship.
Yeah.
And are always together.
And you know what? I don't think we're going to really necessarily get rid of Rocket without Groot and vice versa, just because that's kind of, they come as a pair.
They're a package duo.
Exactly.
Or they're a package deal, I should say.
For the most part, yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah, you can make the argument, well, you got rid of Groot in Infinity Wars. Calm down. We have another movie to come out for that one. So
we knew one of them was going to, like, we had an idea that maybe one of them would, because they kind of like because they kind of paired it off that way. Like,
yeah.
Bucky and Cap, one of those went. War Machine and Sam, one of those went. Really everyone except the major Avengers, the original Avengers.
Yeah.
All disappeared. Really the only one that didn't have that was Titan. Because it was like Peter, Doctor Strange, all of the Guardians are gone.
Just basically got rid of almost everyone.
Which I didn't have this thought on our review, but the second time watching it, I can see it. I can see why a lot of people hated Star-Lord after Infinity
Oh
War.
no, he's fucked everything up.
Exactly.
I get it. Why I get the hate towards him.
We didn't really talk about that in our review.
No,
but after we did our review, I was like, man, there's a lot of hate for Star-Lord.
Well, yeah, because he kind of fucked everything up. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that doesn't make a movie go any farther, does it? Now?
No.
Exactly.
If they got the gauntlet off of
Thanos
his hand, like Dave said after, he said one of the big things is he wanted Doctor Strange to do the portal thing to hack off Thanos' arm so that the gauntlet was no longer attached to him.
But guess what? That doesn't make a movie then.
No, it doesn't. Doesn't make a movie, doesn't advance a plot. But any final things you want to mention about Gamora, her future, and anything about the Guardians?
No,
or Avengers
I think near end of movie, whether they
because we're gonna see her in Avengers 4. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they're gonna bring her back somehow. But I know
but it's just how are we gonna see her?
I think the main thing we're gonna see her as is in the Soul World until soone finds a way to bring her back.
Mm-hmm. No, that's what I think also. But
Because
this is where
go
ahead.
No.
You weren't gonna say one last thing? Go ahead.
I was gonna iterate basically what we just said is because, or what we've already said is because I mean, James Gunn said she's got to be an important
major role
in
major role.
That's gonna be a skit now.
Well, it's How I Met Your Mother. Major role.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Ted and Robin do that.
Okay.
Where whenever it's like general, major, anything like that, major role. And Robin disappeared too. Maria Hill.
Oh, she did, yeah. Along with Nick Fury.
Yeah. But you were just going to reiterate what we were saying.
Yeah, James Gunn said she's going to be an important role in Guardians 3, so we got to bring her back somehow.
Well, this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you guys think down below in that comment section. What do you think Gamora's role is going to be, or future is going to be in the MCU, and how does this change the Guardians? I know we kind of went into that tangent of how does Avengers Infinity War and Avengers 4,
it all plays together.
That change the Guardians into Phase 4? Let us know what you think down below in the comment section. Let's move on, though, into our third topic. Usually, I'm saying last topic, Johnny, not today. It is a true jam-packed show, as I said earlier, on the Rick and Johnny podcast. Were you moving for the 4 or the 3?
Third topic.
The third topic. One day we'll do an entire Dragon Ball podcast.
Oh, God.
When I say that, not all Dragon Ball topics, but we'll do...
all 7.
Yes, all 7 topics. And we'll have a Dragon Ball for the topic. But what we're talking about now, moving away from Marvel, going into the Power Rangers. You got the Morpher right there. You got the Morpher. Do it by the microphone. I was going to say, do it by the microphone so they can hear
want
it.
them to see it.
Yeah, but audio listeners, I don't know if they heard it that well. There you go. There it is.
There's your sound effect.
But what we're looking at today is basically we're going to answer the question of, so Hasbro has bought many Saban properties.
Yeah.
One of which being Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to look at it as a Hasbro Power Rangers movie more likely than Power Rangers 2. So is Hasbro most likely to reboot Power Rangers than just continue with the Power Rangers 2? And a little bit of backstory, Hasbro Inc. acquired several Saban Entertainment brands, most notably was Power Rangers. Earlier or later last year, I should say, Paramount inked a deal with Hasbro that had the intention of developing movie franchises based on the IPs G.I. Joe, Micronauts, Rom the Space Knight, and Mask. So that's why I'm asking you, Johnny, in your mind, after seeing that, Hasbro acquired these Saban properties, what would you say is more likely? A Power Rangers reboot or the Power Rangers 2 movie that we were expecting after the Power Rangers movie we saw just last year?
My money, just because of how dealing works and how all that stuff works, they're probably just going to reboot it if they bought the property from Saban.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, are you really going to try and make the whole deal work with, oh, okay, well, hey, did you guys have any part of a script rewritten? Do we want to really try and rehire these actors? Do we want to follow through with
Are we happy with the
storyline that was laid out already? And my money would be, no, we can fix a few things like Goldar.
Yeah.
The flack I heard about Rita Repulsa.
Rita wasn't terrible.
It wasn't terrible, but the flack I heard about certain aspects of her.
No, I get
was the like, okay, then that's something that maybe Hasbro wants to fix. Little things here and there, like the I sort of enjoyed the why can I not think of them?
You're talking about
the Zords. Yeah, thank you. We get the same time. I couldn't think of the word. I partially enjoyed the Zords. Some of the parts of it were like, okay, that's a little weird.
Yeah.
Like how the Mastodon had like 6 legs, if I remember, or something like that, instead of 4, like a Mastodon.
The things that bugged me were because it's weird.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did I hate the movie? No. When we reviewed it, I didn't hate it. It wasn't like an amazing 5 out of 5, but I had fun. But also a little bit of that was nostalgia too. However, the thing that I think why we're going to look at more of a reboot than Power Rangers 2, I think what comes into it is the low box office numbers. Like, because, and I'm going to see if I can pull up on Wikipedia what those box office numbers exactly were. Let's see. The budget for, so the budget was $100 million. Box office $142 million.
You didn't make a ton off.
So you made your money back, but you only made $42 million. It's Power Rangers. You should be making more. You should be making almost double your money. On a Power Rangers movie.
I would think just solely on nostalgia for one.
And I mean, there are like people have different issues about it. Mainly ours was the Goldar thing. Another issue I didn't like is so the Power Rangers are supposed to be teenagers with attitude. And I didn't like the part of that story where it was like, Jason wakes up and it's like, well, I'm totally ripped. Why am I ripped? Oh, I'm going to put my hand on the sink. Oh, no, I just ripped the sink off the wall. It's like, that's not Power Rangers. Just because they're not in the suits doesn't mean they're super strong. Like when they weren't in the suits, it wasn't like oh my God, I've got so many abilities to where I can crack a sink off the wall just by putting my hand on it.
You're telling me you can't do that?
No, I can't. But I mean, that's like some of the things I was upset about it. There are other people that are upset, like when they mentioned like the Zords or Goldar, Rita Repulsa, or kind of like in pulling in almost a Flash DC aspect of it. There were some people that didn't like the whole, oh, really? We gotta put Billy on the spectrum. We gotta make Billy have autism. Like, there were people that were in that camp.
Yeah, that's
also
true.
with it.
Which, to me, you know what? Honestly,
that I didn't have a too much bad problem
honestly,
with.
I didn't have problems with them giving the...
Because RJ Kyler did a great job with it.
Honestly, I don't mind what they did with them, making Trini the way she was, making Zach the way he was. I didn't have problems with that because I get what they were trying to do.
It's just the new age attitude.
Yeah, they were trying to give it the new age attitude because they're trying to.
I didn't like how they got the powers and everything. That's the bugaboo.
That part should have been like more so with the suit, if you ask me. But I was gonna let that go too because it's like, okay, we're trying to make a newer spin on it. Whatever, Saban can do what they want, seeing as they made it up in the first place. I mean, the suits I had a little bit of problem with at first, and then I'm like, okay, no, actually, they look kind of cool when we saw the movie. The crystals threw me off because before it was coins and morphers, but that's more so hitting the nostalgia part of mine and yours childhood. It's just any of these aspects could have been like what people. I'm just throwing some of these out there because they weren't necessarily my complaints, but remember, things I can think people would complain about.
Bill Hader kind of saved it, but. Remember when we saw the trailers for the first time?
Yeah.
And our initial reaction to Alpha 5?
Oh, God, yeah.
Our initial reaction to that headlight monstrosity.
It looked like a...
It still doesn't look like Alpha 5, but at least Bill Hader saved it.
Yeah, he saved it with how the character acted.
Yeah, but the thing also that the Screen Rant article that I'm reading mentions too is how people also didn't like, it's like, oh, wait, that's awesome. We're going to have the Green Ranger in the next one. And then there were rumors that, oh, the Green Ranger could be a female. And everyone's like, nope, get it out of here. Don't want it. Don't want that. Give me. Well, that's one that you can't, in my mind, you cannot touch the Green Ranger because of the association and the love that people have for Tommy, for Jason David Frank.
Very true.
That is one iconic role.
That's one you're going to piss
that you can't do.
I mean, you can, but you're going to piss too many people off.
Exactly. I would not, if I was in the writer's room and stuff, wouldn't have the balls to do it.
No, I wouldn't either.
Would not have the balls to do it.
Just because, again, like the following of Jason David Frank himself.
I'm trying to think if there's another actor like that if you changed it, people would be that upset with. Like if you made, I mean, there's a little bit of it that had that flack when they, in the comics, changed Iron Man from Tony Stark to Riri Williams.
Same with when they made, actually, you remember I had this problem when they made, and it was for different reasons.
When they made Thor?
They made Thor a woman.
In the comics, they made her Jane Foster, right?
Well, they made...
Wasn't Jane Foster the new Thor?
You know my gripe, and I'll explain it to them so I don't seem like an asshole. My gripe wasn't that... My gripe wasn't that Thor became a woman, or in sense, a woman got Thor's hammer. It was the fact that she was calling herself Thor when Thor's not a title. It's
Thor
a name.
Is a person.
Thor's his fucking name.
It's not like Black Panther.
Exactly.
Where Black Panther's
Captain
a
America.
title that can be passed.
Captain America is a title that can be passed.
Iron Man, arguably.
Arguably. I mean...
Because Riri Williams became Iron Heart.
And Heart... Well, no, we went over this in another podcast. Pepper Potts has a suit, too.
Yeah.
And I forgot the name. Heartbreaker?
Yeah.
Was the suit. So, I mean, yeah, you can change the title of Iron Man.
But they called her Thor, is what was your problem.
That was my problem. So, it's kind of the same concept, not 100%, but I actually flacked on it, too. For that reason, it's like, that's not a title, that's a name. And I get it from... I'll get off the spur of Marvel in a second.
Go ahead.
I'll get off my Marvel spur in a second so we get back to Power Rangers. When the other guys in the original comics, they turned into Thor.
Yeah.
They turned into him. But when they let go of the hammer, they turned back into not Thor.
Yeah. You didn't like that because Thor's a person, not a title.
Yes. Okay, back to Power Rangers.
So,
sorry.
There was also that part of it. To me, I feel with all of this together, and now this will bring me into the second part of it. Like, oh, we talked about what will happen.
Yeah.
Now, what do we want? So, before I give my thought, I'll ask you.
Whoa, you want to ask me what I want? No.
Basically, I asked you what is more likely.
Okay.
A reboot or Power Rangers 2?
I think a reboot.
You personally, which one would you want? Do you want to see them continue and go Power Rangers 2 with the same thing? Or do you want to see a Hasbro reboot of the Power Rangers?
To be honest, I wouldn't mind a Power Rangers 2, but I think I would rather see the reboot. Fix some things, get more of it right. Hasbro, this is so new. What is it, last year, right? It's from last year.
Well, the deal with Saban happened now.
Yeah.
The deal with Paramount where they were going to make G.I. Joe, Mask, Rom, that movie deal was made November of 2017.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we saw the movie in last year, right?
Yes.
Okay. I should probably know that, seeing as we only been doing this for about a year now.
Last year was the first year with movie reviews.
Yeah, exactly.
It came out, it released, so what day is it? I got to scroll a little further for that. Is that what you got to do? Yeah, March 22nd. No, March 24th of 2017. So it's been over a year since we've seen Power Rangers.
Well, here's my thought. If Hasbro were thinking about it to do this correctly, find all the things that people really harped on and things that
change it.
And change it. But like, obviously you're not going to please everyone. Find what the biggest gripes were on that. Change it. Make sure you hit some nostalgia, because that's what your biggest market's going to be, is everyone who's nostalgic about Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Fix some of the things that were really, really griped on. Keep some of those things that people only like, okay, well, whatever. And obviously, like you and I have said, the reason we kind of let it go on why they portrayed the kids as they were in the aspect of putting Billy on the spectrum, doing this, doing that, because it's more of the teenager attitude nowadays. You want to pull that audience in too. So overall, I think it'd be better for Hasbro to reboot it than to go Power Rangers 2, because they can fix all those things that people were really pissed off about.
Yeah, and
like you and I with Goldar. And
like with me, the whole thing that I would look for, which do I want? Reboot the damn thing.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't. It's a catch-22.
Yeah.
Because did I hate it? No.
No.
But is that the Power Rangers movie I wanted? No. Like, that's where I am.
No, I agree with you.
It's the one I got, so I was happy with it. It wasn't god awful. but was it the Power Rangers that I really wanted? No, it wasn't. Like, there were things like Bill Hader was great as Alpha 5. Bryan Cranston was great as Zordon.
Exactly.
The suits weren't god-awful to me when we did see them. However, I wouldn't mind if Hasbro said, hey, we're going to kind of go back to...
what the other ones looked like a little more.
I get it's not going to be exactly.
No.
But more of like, hey, we're going to use more of that as a reference. Because let's be honest, like, those suits from because I believe that was the Japanese footage that they used for that. 90s Japanese footage is what those suits were that we watched for the Power Rangers TV series. You can upgrade them a little bit with what technology is going to be now. So it's like, that's why with the suits, I wasn't completely upset about that.
Yeah.
The morphing, I would want to see more of that. Like how you said, maybe coins instead of what they were Zeo. Oh, that was it. That was my big gripe when we saw
the
it.
morphers?
No, not the morphers. Going back to the coin, because the thing that I got super upset with is that they were like, oh, they're Zeo crystals. And I was like, but they're not the Zeo Rangers.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You actually watched that one.
Well, I guess the Zeo crystals powered the coins or vice versa, but they didn't mention Zeo crystals until the Zeo Rangers. And then with the Zeo Rangers, they were actually morphing with the Zeo crystals because the power coins got destroyed. That's the whole reason they went to the Zeo crystals.
Yeah, so maybe they should switch back to the power coins like the...
Exactly. Like how the reference material... Oh, my God. That was...
Go with your reference material.
I totally forgot I had that gripe.
How about Make My Monsters Grow?
Oh, man.
I would like one of those.
I mean, Rita wasn't terrible. Like,
no, she wasn't. I liked the...
was it Heigl? Is that who played her?
I couldn't remember.
I'm going to look it up really quick.
I'll go ahead with your thought. I'll look her up.
Well, my thought was basically like, go with your reference material. And I felt like throughout that movie, a little bit of it, they were just trying to be too edgy. Trying to be a little bit too edgy to where it's like, hey, we're going to do this to be different from the original.
Yeah.
We're going to be different in this way. Oh, Elizabeth Banks. That's who it was. Elizabeth Banks was Rita Repulsa. I don't know why I said Katherine Heigl. But that's really what it is for me, is just go back to the source material, go off of that. Hey, give me a Bulk and Skull.
Yeah.
Could you imagine a funny Bulk and Skull on the big screen? Like, I mean, and maybe if you're going to give the actual Power Rangers, like how they did the pink and green, white, I'm forgetting Tommy and Kimberly, how they had them at the end.
Yeah.
Maybe have it to where I actually noticed they were there.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't.
Because the first time I was like, Dave was like, oh my God, that was them. I was like, what?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
I was like, it was
either.
such a quick, like, screen that I was like, I didn't even notice that it was them.
Exactly.
I was mainly getting over the gold piece of crap that was Goldar. But any final thoughts with you before we end the podcast with some Superman?
What might be cool is to incorporate them in some way, like oh no, I'm sorry, I was going with a different way, different thing. So like maybe don't have them all friends in the beginning, kind of like they weren't before, and all of them are forced into, I don't know, like a martial arts class to vent some steam in a sense. That
like they knew each other. Like they went to school together.
Yeah, exactly. But
they weren't best friends.
No, exactly. Make it like even if you do like an after school thing where it's like they all have to be there. It's like, okay, we're gonna put you in the gym so you can vent some of this shit out. And then that's how they all become friends, even if it's not necessarily martial arts. Something where they're forced to be together at school as opposed to
the whole thing was in the first episode was them being drawn to the command center, and then all five of them getting there, like, what are you guys doing here? Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Oh, the power, like, this brought me here, and then that's when Zordon, Power Rangers, and and that's where.
Well, even
Power
if it's
Rangers
like
formed.
they kind of had it and they put them all in tension together, so they all like kind of.
That's what they did in the movie, is what you're saying.
That's that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that maybe in a sense do that sort of, or they're not even friends, but at least now you know. Okay, they all officially know each other.
Yeah.
And then maybe as they're all going home or whatever else happens, they all get drawn to the command center in whatever way they want to do it.
True.
Either pulled in there like Zordon did, or
because in this one the command center was a spaceship.
Exactly.
Well, I'm going to turn it on to you guys because, I mean, this is something that I can go all day. Like, I'll just nitpick it, and then originally I'll be like, oh, I said it was an okay movie. It was a crappy movie. And I don't really want to do that. So, you guys let us know what you think down below. What do you think will happen? A Power Rangers 2 or a Hasbro reboot? And which one would you, the more important one is, which one would you rather see? Do you want to see Hasbro continue the Power Rangers 2 from what we saw last year? Or do you just say, screw it, let's reboot it, see what Hasbro can do? Let us know what you think down below in that comment section. But Johnny, let's end the podcast looking at a little gaming, looking at a little Superman.
Okay,
and
good.
what we are looking
He just
at
looked at me
is,
like, why'd you even hum
so
that?
Rocksteady there's rumors that Rocksteady will announce that they will have an open world Superman game. And here's all the details I'll get out of the way. So according to the article, the latest iteration of this rumor comes from an anonymous 4chan post. And I like how right after it goes, so yes, there's reason enough to be skeptical right there.
Oh, I am.
The poster then claims the game will be officially unveiled. I did that again. Before the podcast, I said unveiled when it's unveiled.
No more baby cows.
A couple of weeks before E3, which will take place June 12th through the 14th.
Spoilers. Baby cow is veal.
And offering the following details about the gameplay. So here's all the details that the post said. Number 1, made by Rocksteady. Number 2, it's going to have the Unreal Engine 4. Here's a big one. It's going to be an open world metropolis. Big open world metropolis, about 3 times the size of Arkham Knight with a lot more buildings. You're not going to be able to play as Clark Kent. The main villain's going to be Brainiac. It'll be a nerfed Superman, so think TAS, the animated series Superman levels. Semi-destructible environments. Think Arkham Knight. No buildings falling over.
Aww.
Combat system integrates the flying, kind of like DBZ. You can punch someone, then zoom towards them and repeat. It is set within the Arkhamverse and tons of Easter eggs into Superman's lore and some to the events that took place in Batman Arkham franchise. And then it also has a picture at the very bottom of what Superman could look like in the game, and I will put this article down below in the description. So, Johnny, with all that being said, with it being a 4chan post, with all this information about the game being kind of leaked in a sense, what are your thoughts with this game, and what could we expect from a Rocksteady open-world Superman game?
Well, ignoring the fact that it's a 4chan post.
Exactly. For the sake of argument, let's ignore that. Let's pretend it's real.
Let's ignore that post.
Let's pretend it's real.
The one thing I really like that I've said this before the podcast too, I like that DBZ, not gameplay, but that aspect that they're pulling into it. Because I play the DBZ fighters. I don't know if you have.
I have not yet.
Okay, so to ruin it for Ricky's gameplay.
Go ahead. I've seen clips.
I know.
Of
I'm just messing with you. What you get to do is you get to, when you're in the arena, you're not just flying like in most video games where you're kind of left, right, and forward. It's really hard to grasp the concept right off the bat, because I played with some guys. I did play versus some people that I know,
and I'm watching it now.
It's hard to do.
Is it a different mode than the side-to-side scroller?
Yeah, no, it's not side to side.
Okay,
it's basically, think of the arena, the side scroll arena thing. If you can go in, not just like you've played at least a little bit of damn, what was the game called? Soul Calibur with us before? So you know how you could go left, like you can go in
okay, so it's like a circle almost.
You can go in the circle.
Okay.
But now there's also the up and down aspect where you can fly, and that was so much harder to grasp, because now you have that 3D modeling type thing you can do. And now this is going to sound odd. Guess who I was winning with versus my friends?
Majin Buu?
No.
Oh, Krillin.
Krillin. I was winning with Krillin.
The Krillin kill count, man. That's what you got to go with.
I don't know how, but I was kicking ass with Krillin. And then we stopped playing after about 3 rounds because it's like, okay, this is enough of this crap.
Yeah, we can't let Krillin beat us.
Well, me and the other guy being as the first time we played it, like, okay, I'm getting a little dizzy. Let's switch to something else. But I love that. To get back to the Superman thing.
Yeah.
Because you're flying around. You got a villain that can also fly. Or hell, let's say you're fighting on the ground. You knock him up in the air, Superman style. And then you can zoom up at him. And you can fight him in this literally 3-dimensional space now, as opposed to left and right. The 2D scroller, or I'm going to say the 2.5D in a sense, because there was not really much of the up and down.
Yeah.
Whereas, yeah, you can spin in that circle around each other. But now you have the aspect of way up in the air doing it. So,
and what I'm looking at right now is, so the thing that worries me about this is all the details seem great to me.
Yeah.
But the thing that I don't like is, in our lifetime, no one's done a Superman game right. Where it's like the first game that you and I in our lifetime, even though it came out about 2 years that we were born, Superman NES. I never played it.
Never played it.
My NES was basically Ninja Turtles and Galaga. Then you had one for the Sega Genesis. Yet again, never was marketed.
Never played it.
I never even knew there was a Superman as a kid for the Sega Genesis. The first one that you and I would have played, and I know I played it, you haven't, it was called Superman for the N64. That's the one that had the animated series Superman ripping open the Clark Kent with the Superman logo underneath. That game was god awful. Like the first, I didn't even get past the first stage. I remember I rented it from Blockbuster. That's how long ago this was. I rented it from Blockbuster. And the first level was teaching you how to fly and stuff. And you were flying through rings. And I was like, fuck this. And I just put it down and played. Like, you rented 2 games at the time because they only let you rent out 2. I just put it away and just played the other one that I had.
Yeah.
It's like, come on. Like, it was so god-awful. And then the ones that were after that was Superman Man of Steel 2002 was on the Xbox. Wasn't a great video game. And then the Superman Returns game, which I believe was on Xbox 360, and PlayStation 2, along with the Nintendo DS. Not a great game. So really, nobody has done a Superman game well in our lifetime.
Yeah.
So right away, that makes me weary. It makes me weary that Rocksteady is going to be able to do it well, although I did like the Arkham Knight game. Yeah,
well, that's what I'm more so focusing on those aspects because, yeah, you're talking about a lot of these games that weren't done right. Look at the games we're getting right now. All the different games we're getting right now. And you, like you said, they did Arkham Knight, right? And look how good that game was.
Yes, I liked Arkham Knight.
I mean, just they're going along with that concept, and they said a partially destroyable world.
Yes.
So like,
it's
you're not
going to be on the same level of Arkham Knight, where my chair was falling down. That buildings are like crumbling.
Yeah.
But it will be a destructible environment. So I'm assuming because Brainiac's going to come in and destroy everything.
Yeah. My one thought would be at least if you like shoot your laser vision and hit a building.
Yeah,
it should do that.
But yeah, they said no buildings. It's not going to be.
That's fine. That's what. As long as I get like the glass shattering as I as I do my laser beam across it. That's really all I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So I mean, all the aspects you described all sound pretty good. Again, ignoring that this is a 4chan one because I do want to
take that into
I do want to reiterate this. I love all the sounds of this gameplay. Again, a partially destroyable world, 3 times the size of Arkham Knight, and that's only fair because now you can fly around.
Arkham Knight's like
big.
It was big. It was a huge open. It was bigger than Arkham Asylum, bigger than Arkham City, and this is going to be like. I get that you have to make it that big because Batman can. Batman's basically like. Well, I was going to say it's basically like Spider-Man.
Yeah,
where Batman can grapple things, but in like maybe swing every once in a while. But Batman's not flying around.
Yeah,
like,
which is...
Batman's flying was, I'm going to run off this building and glide. And then fall and then glide. And then fall and then glide. And then I got to grapple back up.
Exactly. And that was the best you got for flying. With no
Yeah.
Superman, now that you can fly.
With some momentum behind it.
Yeah, exactly. You can fly. So, I mean, you have to have that bigger world.
I can fly. I can fly. I can fly.
I can sing.
Well, I was thinking more Peter Pan.
Oh, I was thinking.
You were thinking Dr. Zayas from Simpsons.
Yes, I was.
Go on with what you were saying.
Because you were going more of that tone than the Peter Pan one. No, I like that. I'm trying to remember the other things you mentioned about it so I can give more insight. But those are the two main ones I like that hit, like, I guess, hit my eye would be the phrase, or caught my attention.
And that's the thing with Rocksteady being the one developing this. Yeah. That makes me, what's the word I'm looking for? Positive. Like, that makes me positive with it because.
Hopeful.
So there's 4 Arkham games.
Yeah.
Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight were all Rocksteady. Arkham Origins, which was that third one in between City and Knight, that was done by WB Montreal. And that was the one that it was good, but it wasn't great. Whereas Arkham Knight and the rest of them, I was like, holy crap, this is a great game.
Yeah.
And that is like, I like it because if it's going to be like the Arkham games, we're going to see a darker Superman, and it's going to be more real.
Yeah.
The thing that's also interesting is that Brainiac is going to be the villain, kind of like what it kind of goes off of what you were saying last week when we talked about a Man of Steel 2 story.
So I can read the future, just the wrong kind.
What would you think of the, like, how would the game and story work with Brainiac as your villain, and would you even include Lex Luthor at all? Maybe like at the end to tease a second game.
Yeah, end to tease a second game. Maybe some cut scenes here and there with that, but I would more
Easter eggs around maybe Lex Luthor's president, and you see, or running for president, and you see like in the background not like
I wouldn't run him for president yet.
You wouldn't?
No, because I mean you got it.
Or like
I get it.
Or is it like the Ace sign in Batman where it's like you see Ace Chemicals over there?
Yeah.
You just see a building that says LexCorp.
I would say do it that way because you have to. I get it. You and I and a lot of people know who Lex Luthor is. Yada yada yada. You have to introduce him to this world. You don't just pop him in as Lex Luthor running for president. You incorporate LexCorp. Maybe there's little side missions of like finding out what Lex Luthor's up to.
Because that was the beautiful thing about Arkham, the Arkham games, especially like I'm thinking more Arkham City because Arkham Asylum was very linear because Batman was getting myself what's the word I'm looking for? Committed to Arkham Asylum as Bruce Wayne. So that I can help out everything and defeat the Joker in Arkham. Whereas Arkham City was more of like, hey, I've got my main missions, but I've got these side quests with the littler villains all around as well.
Yeah, which is what my thought would be is like, because you're not going to just have it blatantly Brainiac. You're going to do other smaller villains maybe.
Yeah.
Slowly bringing in Brainiac, have like maybe his drones once in a while, like Superman not knowing what these drones are for exactly.
And true, the question is I expect them to do the same, but I don't expect them to do as many because Superman doesn't have as many notable villains as Batman did.
I know he doesn't have as many notable, which is why you make them
like even like Hush, like it's not noticeable, but Batman has a ton. Like Batman's like
the gallery, like you said, the Spider-Man of Marvel Universe,
is what I was gonna say. Yeah.
But they both have the two of them have a gallery. Superman, not so much. So I mean, like it would be lesser things like finding out little shit that LexCorp is up to. Maybe eventually throw Lex Luthor in halfway in the middle of it, just to make him as this is a potential villain down the line, but he's just kind of a troublemaker at this time.
Kind of like how in I think Arkham City, where it was like. At first, it's, you've got this, but then the storyline changes and you're with Natalia and you fight Ra's al Ghul, but then at the end, it's like, okay, we're coming back to the main villain, which was, like, the Penguin, I believe. Right?
Yeah.
Like, there was a side part where it's like, man, I got to get this thing from Dr. Freeze, to where it's like you're getting a few villains, but the main villain is this guy.
Yeah, so
or will it be an Arkham Knight thing where the Arkham Knight is basically, he's the main villain all the way through?
I think I would go with the other one first because you don't want to just like have the whole thing harp on Brainiac and just throw the thunder right in there in the right in the beginning. I would want something that like starts me off. That way also you used to some of your lesser villains, or you get used to being Superman, and then as things progress, they get harder. Eventually, at the very end, final thing before you finish this game, you have to fight Brainiac finally.
Also, what do you think of when they say can't play as Clark Kent? Do you think can't play as Clark Kent, or is it Superboy? Like, is it a different Superman?
No,
I would
Superman.
think that it's like it's Superman, but you're not going to be walking around as Clark
Yeah,
Kent.
you're not going to be going to the Daily Bugle to play as play as Clark Kent and be in disguise. No, you're not going to do any of that. I think that's what they mean.
You mean the Daily Planet?
Yeah, whatever.
I had to look it up really quick because I'm like, I think I made that.
I think I made the opposite mistake you usually do.
You're a Marvel guy, though. I usually always say the Daily Planet.
Exactly, and I did the opposite mistake you make.
You said the
I
Daily
said
Bugle.
the Daily Bugle.
Give me some pictures of that Superman. I need pictures of Superman.
He's
people.
a menace.
J. Jonah Jameson in the DC universe. He technically is. He's Commissioner Gordon now. But any final thoughts on this as a whole about this game? Really, the timeline is, so if I go back to it, it says that the game will be officially unveiled a couple weeks before E3. Ooh. So E3 is going to be June 12th, which right at this moment we sit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. Yeah, 5 weeks from this Tuesday. So this upcoming Tuesday, as we record this on May 6th, 5 weeks from this Tuesday will be when E3 happens.
Wow.
I'll ask you this. Any final thoughts? And in those couple weeks, do you think it's 2 weeks before, 3 weeks before? When do you think, if this is coming, do we see them say, Superman game, here you go? We're 5 weeks away right now.
Yeah.
Think about that.
You don't think they're just going to wait till E3 to do that?
You think they would? Because, yet again, the post isn't gospel.
Yeah, exactly.
It says, a couple weeks. Do you think they wait all the way until E3?
I mean, I would. It'd be a decent, release to get the hype because, I mean, superhero movies are the thing right now.
Or at least get a teaser out there for, at E3.
Yeah.
To be prepared for, a Superman game.
Yeah, that's all you need. It's hey, guys, be prepared for a Superman game. We're working on one right now.
Any final thoughts you got with this one?
No, I like the idea of what was talked about. It's too bad it was coming from a 4chan.
I can't wait until if this is actually good.
Yeah.
And then we can kind of integrate Batman and Superman because it's going to be a part of the Arkhamverse.
Yeah.
And we can kind of get the best of both kind of
eventually
together. Yeah. Maybe get a Flash game in the future.
That'd be fun.
Green Lantern, kind of get all these different games going on. I think that'd be and kind of piece them together into a video game universe because Marvel started. It's kind of the thing.
It's a universe.
To make your own
Everything
universe.
needs a universe.
Any final things before we wrap this up?
No, like I said, it sounds like a fun game. Hopefully it's actually true and not just one of those 4chan
trolls.
Trolls, exactly.
Well, this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you think down below about the Rocksteady Superman game. Are you hyped? Do you hope it's coming true, or are you skeptic because every Superman game in your life has been terrible and you're like, I don't want another bad Superman game. I'd rather just not have one at all. Let us know what you think. Here at the end of the podcast, we'll do a little housekeeping. Number one, if you liked what you heard, liked what you listened to, make sure to check out patreon.com. Thank you for all of our patrons who support us on Patreon. That link down below in the description. Make sure to check out our store. Link also in the description to get yourself an MVP t-shirt. MostValuablePodcast.com. That's where you're going to catch everything for Rick and Johnny and everything for MVP each and every day. And last but not least, make sure to go on Apple Podcasts and Apple iTunes and give the Rick and Johnny podcast a 5-star rating. It would mean the world to us, and it helps other people know that, hey, this is a podcast that they should be listening to. Want to thank you guys for watching on YouTube. Thank you guys for listening on podcast services around the world. And as always, have a good day, everybody.